Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wynn and today I bring to you Wynn in Meier Civilization 5. This is the Brave New World expansion pack, but I actually have both expansion packs as well as all the downloadable other guys, you know, the guys that you play at the civilizations. So, I need to, confess, I have been on a hiatus on my videos for a while, and that's because of this game. This game is, well, has been taking up the majority of my time since about a week or two ago. I've been playing it with the Potatoes, which is a group of friends that I have, and I'm really into it actually. So let's see, we are going to set up a game. What I normally like to do is I normally like to leave it as a random civilization and then set everything, I don't know. I normally like to have the continents map. Let's see, can I go into advanced setup with this? I can. Okay, so map size, let's go large. I like huge maps, I cannot lie. Difficulty level, Prince, of course. Game pace standard, yeah. Ancient era, 4 billion years, temperate, normal, rainfall, sea level. Yeah, let's go with medium. And resources, standard. Yep, this is going to be like a normal civilization game. Let's go back, and we have how many players? 10 players with 12 city-states. So, out of all of these civilizations that you can play as you can see, you can play as, say, Morocco, the Huns, the Celts, Germany, Carthage, who I never knew existed before this game, actually, Sweden. You can pick a load of people, like you can pick Kamehameha of Polynesia, you can pick Montezuma of the Aztecs, you can pick, I don't know, Oda Nobunaga of Japan, you know, anybody. Well, all the civilizations that have memorable rulers, like Shaka and the Zulus. I don't know how many people are too aware of the Zulus, although I will say that I was born in South Africa and I can know of the Zulus and I know of Zululand. But anyway, who am I going to be playing as? Normally, I like to play as Russia, but I think I'm going to leave it to chance this time, and I'm just going to have it be a random leader on a random... Yeah, let's just start the game. So we have map type continents, 10 players with 20 city-states, normal difficulty, let's begin. Who are we playing as? Oh!
Greetings upon thee, your Imperial Majesty Catherine, wondrous Empress of all the Russias. At your command lies the largest country in the world. Mighty Russia stretches from the Pacific Ocean in the east to the Baltic Sea in the west. Despite wars, droughts, and every manner of disaster, the heroic Russian people survive and prosper. Their artists and scientists among the best in the world. The Empire today remains one of the strongest ever seen in human history. A true superpower, with the greatest destructive force ever devised at her command. Catherine, your people look to you to bring forth glorious days for Russia and her people, to revitalize the land and recapture the wonder of the Enlightenment. Will you lead your people once more into greatness? Can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time?
Okay, so I haven't elaborated on this just yet, but each civilization has a different, unique ability. And they also come with two unique, construction things for them. Normally it's a unit and a building. So we are playing as Russia. What does this mean? Well, we get the effect Siberian Riches, which increases the production that strategic resources such as horses, iron, uranium provide, and we also get double quantity of those items when we add them to our collection. We also get the unique Cossack unit. Let's see, it requires 1 horse to make, and it's capable of fighting toe-to-toe with contemporary infantry units, and it's better against units that have already taken damage. We also have the Krepost. Now, I'm not Russian, I have no idea what the language sounds like. Well, I know what the language sounds like, I don't know the language, should I say, so forgive me with these pronunciations. We also have the Krepost, which is a building we can build, and that gives us plus 15 experience to all units, which is beneficial to keep your army up to snuff. And we also get culture and gold cost of acquiring new tiles in the city reduced by 25%. I'll get into that a bit later. So, what is Civ 5? Well, if you watched and enjoyed Europa Universalis 4, chances are you've probably actually heard of this, especially if you're a EU4 player, you've heard, oh, why are you playing there? Why not play Civ 5? It's much better. Well, I'm not going to go down that road, but I will say that Civ 5 is quite addictive. It's, would I call it a grand strategy game? I wouldn't put it in the same vein of grand strategy games as, say, Crusader Kings 2 or Europa Universalis 4 or any other Paradox games. This is like a different game in itself. I'm sure it might be classified as, you know, the thing that I just said, the grand strategy game, but it's a little different. So, what we have here, we have a settler. Settlers can settle cities. We can press this button, and boom, there's Moscow. The capital city of Moscow. Now, this is completely ahistoric, believe me. I was, like, extremely shocked. The first time I played through it, I was like, what? So, Russia is fighting Babylon. Huh. Okay. And the Great Wall of China was built in America. Right. Yeah, the stuff like that happened in this game. So the first few turns that we're going to do is we are going to set up a few scouts and start researching some technology. Now, because we are Russia, we want the strategic resources, and in order to find strategic resources, we need to research the appropriate technology. And that's what I'm doing here. We're learning animal husbandry right now. Oh wow, we found a natural wonder and Sidon. I'll get into this a little bit later. Let me finish my tangent. We found Ururu. Always fun to say that. So, we have animal husbandry here. Now, I can't actually see how much science I'm making because the fraps counter is actually... Oh, it says it right there. Fraps counter is above the number, so I can't see what the number is beside this blue circle here. But this is our science. Each research takes a certain amount of tech to make. So if we hover over animal husbandry, it says that we have progress of 4 out of 44 science. So that's... And we gain 4 science a turn, so you divide the number that you need for each research by the number that you gain per turn, and that's how many turns it'll take in order to research this tech. So it says 10 turns, that's because we've already went through 1 turn, so 44 minus 4 is 40, then 4 goes into 40 10 times. That sounds a bit... Okay, if you're absolutely crap at maths, you probably zoned out already, but that's how it works, okay? So, early game strategy for Russia. Find out where all the strategic resources are, and place a city there. Things like these, what are they called? Natural wonders. This here is Uluru. That is Ayers Rock, as most of us over here in the West can call it. Natural wonders are these tiles, as you can see the tiles are like hexagonal, that provide you unique bonuses. If we hover over this tile, we can see there in the, above the next turn button in the lower right, it says that it gives 2 apples and 6 doves holding a leaf. That means it gives you 2 food and 6 faith. Faith is this thing up here, that's to do with religion, we'll get to that later. Food is hugely necessary in order to grow your city. Let's see, if we go up to here, it says 4 turns until a new citizen is born. Now, each citizen eats, like, probably 1 or 1.5, maybe 2 food. And the more food we have, the better. Now, if we go to here, this is the city management screen. As you can see, these tiles inside this border has these, like, head icons here. The ones that are lit up in green means that that tile is currently being worked. So we're currently getting the benefit of this oasis tile, which gives 3 food and 1 gold. Gold is pretty self-explanatory. The more gold, the higher your income. That is represented by this +4 modifier here. And we have 34 gold currently. We got 30 by meeting a city-state. City-states are also kind of important in the game. If you discover city-states first, then they'll give you a lot. They'll give you a substantial amount of benefits. Well, I say that it's just a nice little thing to help you get started. So for instance, when we met Sidon, it gave us 30 gold. If, say, like we were the second person, we'd get 15. If we were the third person, we'd get nothing. So the more city-states we find, the better it is for us. Oh, and there's ruins over there. Ancient ruins are really important in the early game. It actually allows you to get a leg up on the competition. You can find things like extra population for your cities in ruins. You can find, what else? Upgraded weapons, which is a little funny considering they're ancient ruins, but that basically improves your, the class of the unit that passed by the square. Or you can also find gold, culture, which is this purple thing here, faith, or you can find an entirely new technology. And new technologies are, well, that's probably like one of the best ones out there. You can't really choose what technology it gives you, it's kind of random, but yeah. So we have a Russian warrior unit here. Now the Russian warrior, he's like a warrior, he fights stuff. Now what we have here is also a Russian scout. Now Russian scouts can move about the terrain without getting any negative penalties to it. If we... oh, I can't see it right now. You see that the unit is out of moves. Most units get 2 movement slots per tile. There are certain unique units, and of course there are the mounted units who can move more. But depending on, say, like if you're crossing a river or a mountain or something, it'll take up more than 1 slot. Crossing a river takes up all of your movement slots. Crossing a hill takes up an extra movement slot. Crossing into a forest also does. And so on and so forth. You can't go past mountains unless you're Carthage and you've researched a certain technology. But the scout, they can ignore that. They ignore all of the terrain penalties, so they can move about really quickly. So here we are going into a plains hill. Normally our warrior would stop here, he'd have no more movements. But our scout is actually much more equipped for this. So let's see, if I were to move into here, you see this is a forest. The unit is out of moves. He had 2 movements to begin with, so yeah, that happens. Now these other icons here, like for instance these silver, this fish, this marble, those are benefits onto the tile itself. If we hover over, silver gives +4 happiness and +2 gold. Now the +4 happiness only matters when we upgrade it. We need to get it inside of our border first, and then we need to upgrade it with a worker. Now we don't have any workers just yet, but I'll be getting there soon. Over here we have silk. Silk and silver are luxury resources, and they improve your happiness, which are your smiley faces up here. They improve your happies for each unique one that you get. So, say for instance there's 2 silver here. If we like upgrade these 2 tiles, we'll still only get +4 happiness because we've already got silver first. So we just finished animal husbandry, and this here, this is the technology tree. It is insane, okay, yeah. It looks kind of weird, like kind of like, oh my god, I'm so lost. But this also is a nice time to describe the technology and the era. So for here, you can see like these different trails. For instance, to research trapping, all you just need is animal husbandry, which stems from agriculture. Pottery, animal husbandry, archery, and mining all stem from agriculture. These are basically your basic functions of the game. Now, certain things like, say, the wheel, they require 2 or more researches to be completed. So, for instance, in order to get the wheel, we need animal husbandry, which we have, and we also need to research archery. Now let's see, are we currently working on a worker? We're not working on a worker just yet. So how long would it be until we start working on the worker? So that's 7 turns for the monument, and then an additional 18, so that's what, 25 turns? So in 25 turns we can start upgrading these tiles. And because of that, we might want to... let's go for archery, then mining, and then... mason? Let's go for bronze working and masonry. Let's see, quarries. What do quarries do again? Marble and clear marshes. So marble, we have some marble over here, and we can also build them on stone as well. Stone is not a luxury resource, marble is a luxury resource. There are certain effects to the tiles, like say deer, marble, fish, that look like they're luxury resources, but they're not, simply because they don't provide you happiness. They just give an extra benefit onto the tile. So for instance, fish gives +1 food. As you can see, this is a 2-tile zone, water zone here, while everything else is 1, did I say 2-tile? 2 food tile, while all the other similar tiles over here are 1 tile, unless they also, 1 food, unless they also have more fish on it. Wow, okay. So, to begin off with in any game, it's basically just setting up your first city and going around and exploring a bit. As you can see, this is the fog of war, the clouds. As you walk into that territory, you uncover it. Now, our goal is firstly to meet other civilizations, try and find out where their locations are, so that we know who would be most trouble and where they would exist, as well as uncovering other things like ancient ruins, natural wonders, which we've already found one of each. What else is there to find? Oh yeah, there's also barbarian camps. Now, barbarians are heinous. Do not, oh my god. Okay, that there is a barbarian. Barbarians are constantly hostile. They will attempt to raid your city, they will attempt to destroy your tile improvements and steal your workers as well as kill your units. Now, scouts, as you'd expect, aren't very good fighters, especially not against warriors. But fortunately, these guys did not want to leave their camp. Barbarian camps spawn additional barbarians later on, depending on how long you leave it. And so you need to kill not only the units occupying this tile, but you also need to move into the tile yourself to clear the barbarian camp. So as you can see, we're already on turn 14. That's it's kind of slow to begin off with, but this is how most civilization games start. Now, also certain tiles also provide you with unique, tile types provide you with terrain bonuses. So, for instance, we have a barbarian brute here. If he were to go and attack my scout, he would have a difficult time. Mainly because my scout is in forest and hills, both of which provide a huge defensive bonus. If we, hover over this is basically telling my scout to see how a battle with these barbarians would go. This, the minor defeat screen thing you see there, that indicates how well or badly you might do. Minor defeat means you won't lose too many men, but you'll still lose. And you'll damage them. But as you can see, they have a plus 25% terrain modifier. That's because they're standing in hill. If they try and attack me, I'd probably have a much higher terrain modifier, because forests and hills both provide a benefit. So we're just going to continue to explore a little bit, and going to try and find new things. Still taking advantage of the scout's ability to walk 2 tiles in rough terrain. Might want to bring our warrior back just so that we don't have to worry about the barbarians approaching us from over here. In the meantime, we're still finding more ancient ruins, and now it's time to start working on a worker. Now, in order to maximize your effectiveness, as you can see, it takes me 17 turns in order to create a worker. Yep, 70 turns is quite a lot. 17, not 70. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay, so the terrain kind of... right, okay. That might be because I'm running fraps. The game might be running a little slow. It says I'm currently running at 20 frames a second. But anyway. Production, that's what I'd go and do. These little circles with a hammer inside, those are production effects. The more of them you have, the less time it takes you to create things in your city. As you can see, we're gaining 4 production a turn, and it takes 16 turns in order to fulfill the amount. Similar to the research, each unit costs a certain amount. So say workers cost 70 70 hammers, 70 production, and we're getting 4, so it takes about 16 turns from this point in order to produce one. That's something to the effect of 70 minus 4, then divided by 4, something like that. Anyway. Now, of course, the beginning of the game is still quite slow. We have some barbarians, and barbarians aren't very nice. We do get a thing called a social policy now. Social policies are another important thing. These are to do with culture. That's this purple icon up here. Now, in the ruins that we just explored down here, it gave us 20 culture. And that put us over the limit to getting a new policy. Basically, whenever you go over this threshold, over this side of the slash, that means you can get a free policy. So what free policy do I want? There are a whole load of policies. Some of them are locked, as you can see. This one is locked, and so are all these. The only ones we can choose from are these 4. What am I going to choose? I'm going to choose Liberty myself. Liberty when you unlock it, gives you +1 culture in every city and unlocks building the pyramids, which is a world wonder that you can build. And yes, Russia can build the pyramids. So as you go down, as you collect the culture, you get access to more of these things. So for instance, you spend culture by unlocking one of these squares, and then inside these squares, you get little squares which give you extra effects. So next time we level up in our culture, we can either pick citizenship, which improves tile improvement construction rate by 25%, and also causes a worker to appear near our capital. Or we could pick Republic, which improves production and gives +5% extra production in cities when constructing buildings. Personally, I'm going to go for citizenship, simply because that'll allow us to grow quicker, and it will allow us to, I think, yeah, it should get us a dude before this time happens. Let's see, how many times, so that's like 2, maybe 3 turns until we get a new policy, so it's essentially 3 turns until we get a new worker. And the increased tile improvement speed is also quite amazing. Now every time I click the end turn button, the game simulates the other NPC's turns. So we have like, how many unmet players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 unmet players. So those are 9 other civilizations from that list that we saw earlier that I was scrolling through at the beginning of the video. And any random civilization in that list could be here. So for instance, we could see like the Byzantines here, we can see like the ancient Romans, we could see Attila the Hun, all that sort of things. So, for the meantime, I think I'll call it here. I know this probably isn't the most exciting first episode, but it'll get better later on. As I mentioned, Civilization 5 is quite a slow game to get started. I mean, we're already on turn 21. But anyway, this is the beginning of a new series, and as I mentioned, it was also the reason, this game is also the reason why there was a hiatus in videos. At any rate, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.